Welcome to podcast number 50. I'm going to, actually in the last couple of weeks, after announcing that we were going to come out with a current signature analyzer in addition to the EMPATH system, so the EMPOWER, some articles came out in some magazines, including within some trade magazines, one in particular having to do with an industry I'm involved in, that suggested that current signature analysis was very limited in its ability to only detect very specific things in the motor and just allude to other things. It was very obvious as I read through that article that the author really didn't even understand the electrical signature analysis portion of it, but I'm not going to disparage that article too much. At least it's drawing some attention to the technology. It would have been far better if they explained things correctly. And I've seen this happen not just once, but other times as well, when companies are promoting technologies that fall short, we'll put it mildly. They disparage the entire industry by suggesting that that's as far as you can go with that technology. So I'm going to show you, this is a real project we went on. I'm going to show you the results of a couple of things real quick. I've already opened them up because, as we've talked about before, I've got a little bit of a lag, but this will be a very quick one. This is a electric machine. Let's pull up some images. Here we go. So this was 350 horsepower, 1800 RPM motor running on a VFD. We did 4 of them. 2 were across the line, 2 were VFD. So I'm going to show you the exact same unit. That one there, actually. And let's go ahead and show you the setup. And I'll explain this real quick. So this is inside the VFD cabinet. The EMPATH is set up in here. The voltage clips are going up behind, and they're connected in behind. So I've got 3 phases of voltage, 3 phases of current. You can see the other one right here. That is all that's required inside the cabinet for the EMPOWER unit. So, I'm sorry. No. That's so the EMPOWER unit slipped in here as well. So in any case, we have that set up. The EMPOWER unit's around 1, so I have a CT ratio of 2. We were able to slip this around both. In this case, in the other cabinets, we got around both as well. But this one in particular, I wanted to show you. You can see I've got bearing issues both in the drive end and opposite drive end. Okay, so and then it says a little bit of misalignment and unbalance, but that is actually an anomaly, probably from the drive, from the signal. So when we took data, all of this is inside the cabinet. We went ahead and took data externally, so the door's shut. I had some points on this because I've already posted some stuff and I've written an article about it that'll come out in the next few days. But in any case, this is the EMPOWER hardware. That little device right there connected to the CT. The guts is basically the software behind it. Right now, we're limiting it to PC. Later, we may move it to phone or whatever else. We wrote it in Python, so it's very portable, but it slows it down a little bit. So the EMPATH is far faster. I'm able to look at power quality stuff with the EMPATH. I'm able to identify loose connections with the EMPATH. Beyond that, they're pretty much similar. So this is supposed to be a cost-effective way to get introduced to the technology. We're then offering discounts to move up to an EMPATH anytime in the future from the EMPOWER. So that basically if you learn it and you say, okay, I love it, but I want to do this much more. The resolution is the same or better with the EMPOWER. On the higher frequency spectra, it's the same on the low frequency spectrum. So this is a low frequency spectrum. You can see where everything sits. This is voltage down here, current here. It's called out certain things, and we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to open up the other software. I'm going to pause it so we don't lag. Okay, so here is the EMPOWER analysis. This would be similar to this here. You can see very flat. You can also see about 75 dB down, so a little bit different. I'm using a different type of filter on it. You see this is about the same. We're going to go ahead and we're see how this comes out and kind of curves up, and I don't have the humps I usually do with VFD. Well, that helped us identify that the drive frequency is way out here somewhere, and I was actually able to figure it out because one of the differences with the EMPOWER, while I limit it for the use of viewing in the software to 5 kilohertz, we're actually out to 22 kilohertz at 0.01 hertz across the entire spectrum. So this allows us here to take a look at pretty much everything. So let's see, it looks like some peaks are pretty close here. That would be stator. Everything's color coded. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look, and they don't actually touch. So these are power harmonics here. You can see the lines that go up. That's ones that we set for power harmonics. And then I can scroll across and look at some of the other stuff and see where I'm seeing different types of peaks. Okay, so that's that. So what we do here with the empath, I can call up the peaks as I want to. In the EMPOWER, we just call them all up. So there's speed. You see that 90 hertz signature. That peak isn't there because of the filter we're using. So that's the only real difference. The other thing, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at our high frequency spectra. Hopefully we don't lag. And I'll shut this down here. So you can see that I come out and you can see all the peaks there. Then I've got that hump, and there's about 5 kilohertz. So if I want to make this similar between what we're looking at, let's come out here to 5 kilohertz. The roll off is about 5,500. So that I can do, I can show you the direct comparison between the two. So there's that. And as you can see, they look pretty much the same. The lines are a little bit thicker here. That was because this is a different type of filter than this one, so the peaks are a little bit broader here. That was deliberate. These are not up here, but they're pretty much the same. So I can go in and show you power harmonics there. So basically, I'm going to end up with similar results between the two in the auto analysis, right? So now this is a pump. Later I will show you the external testing, but it is fully capable of doing driven equipment. So in this case, say it's a 5-blade pump, I can then analyze that driven equipment. It will pop up. Hopefully I don't lag. I was doing some analytics with it. Yeah, I better pause. Just real quick, I did make a little error because I didn't have the pump set up. So I had forgotten to select pump or fan. Now this is set up so if I select direct drive or nothing, it will take the speed of the driver equipment. If I put in it as a belted application or a gearbox, it'll adjust all the speeds and troubleshoot everything accordingly. So let's just take a look at this, and I'm going to pause again. And it will do the analysis. It's going to show me a bunch of peaks, and I can then go in, zoom in, do whatever I want in here. Actually, after this podcast, we're adding in the ability to highlight specific peaks if I want. That we'll be able to do and undo in here, or I might, yeah. So in any case, that's kind of it there. When I do that analysis, if there is a defect, it will add it into this so that I can run a save PDF. Basically runs a report that covers pretty much everything. Let's see. There we go. So it's run any defect analysis here. I've got an adjustment to make here. This is the final beta. I've got all the inputs in from our beta testers, and as far as detection of defects and everything else, it's nailed it. The RPM is pretty much dead on. It looks for the highest peak near the expected slip of the operating machine based upon the estimated load. A bunch of other things that we put in there. Completely unique. As a matter of fact, the EMPATH and the EMPOWER come at it from a different approach. This is even saved as a sound wave file when we bring it in. So it's versus this into a proprietary file. So a lot of great stuff from that perspective. And as you can see, current signature, if I have the resolution and the frequency, even if I'm using ESA, if I'm testing an electric motor, everything downstream is in current, everything upstream is in voltage. So I'm able to see everything downstream with current signature just as easily as I do with, 3 phases of current or full ESA. So that was one of the biggest misnomers of all of it. As a matter of fact, I've been surprised to see that statement made. I always say that the primary difference is I can calculate actual watts with ESA. I look at loose connections. I can look at power quality issues that are helping guide some of the problems and outside issues that are coming in because voltage is upstream. Whereas with current signature analysis, I'm looking strictly downstream. And in this case, off of one phase, I'm basically doing a more in-depth version of vibration analysis in which I'm seeing everything downstream at once, all the bearings, every component. So on this one set of data, as you can see, I'm able to go through and look at all of this information in addition to what's in the motor. So this is a 350 horsepower motor. There's my bearing and rotor bars and stator slots. This should be at 60 hertz. But in any case, we had another set of data at 20 hertz. That's it. So for those who are interested in this type of technology, feel free to reach out. So I'm going to pause again, and then we're going to go on to our second topic real quick, just very, very fast, about 5 minutes. So this is going to be my shortest podcast or vlog because I've got a lot of software programming to do and some website work to do for something else. So in any case, be right back. Hi, and this is part 2 of the podcast 50. So the first part, you saw us go through a comparison of the EMPOWER and the EMPATH just to give you an idea of what electrical signature looks like and current signature looks like, and I did not go through all the features of both systems. It was just to show that the data is similar and you can take a look at the whole thing. And, the articles that I was referring to came along with some other information that has been coming out recently on, well, let's just say, I kind of joked about one because it was literally a situation where an organization with a poorly kept CMMS had found a company that would help them fix their CMMS through an AI that would fill in the blanks and fill in stuff based upon what it estimated from the data that was in there. So obviously not particularly correct. And then, of course, then they took that and put it through another AI to help them make maintenance decisions, and then all of that information went into a corporate AI that helped them take a look at business decisions, basically automating themselves to failure faster. And that goes back to discussions that have come up in the past. And those discussions in industry surrounding things like CMMS and automation and so on before the big AI boom, which is basically the same thing. We just now everybody attaches AI to what they're doing. Different algorithms. I mean, there was a lot of work done so that all these algorithms are a little faster now, look deeper now, are more statistically based. So there's a lot of power there, and most of it is pretty good. The problem that I see is the same problem that has been discussed over this entire period since we started automating things. If you have bad processes or bad information and you automate it, it's going to become worse and bad. Basically, you're going to accelerate your failure all that much faster. So when you start looking at digital transformation, one of the biggest and first steps is, well, there's actually a couple of approaches. One is get all your ducks in a row by making sure that all of your information is correct. That can be done with modern data science, meaning that you would have to have people that were going to go through that data and verify that it's correct, go back, look for history. It's a lot of work. But you need that information to be good because, literally in AI and machine learning, garbage in, garbage out. Once you have that set up, then you put together and ensure that all of your processes are correct. That can be done in parallel. Those 2 points can be done in reverse, whatever. Depending on who you talk to, there's different approaches. But you need to get all your processes together. Why? Because regardless of what automated system you approach, you're not going to be using your processes. But you need to know what your processes are because you need to then change them to the processes that the automation is going to require. Yes. So whatever that is, right? So then once you have that, and once you have changed your organization to the processes necessary to follow the software, follow the information, then you're on your way. Yeah. Not typically what we're seeing. What we're seeing in most cases is take the information we have, go in and take a look at it. We don't know if it's true or false, but we're going to dig into it, and we're going to take a look and pull out different ideas, and then we're going to go with that. Or what I'm seeing even with SCADA systems and some of the automation attempts there, and nobody's quite sure why most of them don't work, but it's mostly because they just throw all the stuff in there and say, tell me what you see as anomalies, and then we'll figure it out, that kind of thing. But in any case, the big steps behind, and this is the clarification, big steps behind digital transformation. One, know what you want to achieve, know what your goals are, make sure that you have, and that has to include all stakeholders. So if you're going to include maintenance and reliability, you need to include maintenance and reliability because they can provide you feedback. It might not always be what you want to hear. And I have gone out to sites where they made decisions on automated systems and they did not talk to reliability and maintenance. Instead, they had the vendor who was selling a product tell them what they needed. And of course, it was only areas that fit their product. And when we got the reliability and maintenance folks involved, it turned out that none of that was what they needed at all. They already had stuff in place. But that's neither here nor there. And it wasn't a small company. So one, know what you need, have input from everybody involved. Otherwise, you're going to miss things. Next step is take a look and see what systems you're interested in. See what's there. Get information from people that are using it. And then to start getting your data together and your processes together. You may end up with a consultant through all of this, somebody who's got experience, taking a look at all of this information and identifying where there's going to be problems. Then you begin to bring in the automation, and you start small. Do not just throw it at your plant. This could be handling IoT devices, whether that's wireless vibration, electrical signature, which you really want. Any of these other systems that are out there, any automation or AI that's working on data in your historian, all of that information. Once that's all been prepared and analyzed, and you're sure that you're going to get good information fed into your AI from that point on, then you start moving forward. So start small, build out, because you're going to find things as you go. And while every company ends up being very, very similar, you're not. There's going to be small iterations that have to do with the most chaotic portion of your organization, which is people. And none of the AIs, none of the machine learning systems is really meant, even no matter how generalized it is still a logical system, meaning it has to make decisions based upon data inputs and rules that are built into it. Now you hear, AI this and AI that. Well, generative AI or predictive AI or whatever other brand of AI, by the time this comes out, there's probably going to be 6 more. They're all machine learning. They all have different strengths and weaknesses, but they all fall to the same thing. There's rules applied. There's biases that exist in those systems from the people who build them and train them. Some of that bias in your facility is going to be from errors. So bad information coming into the system, not just original data that's going to be then used to make projections, but as you continue forward, it's going to be, well, let's see, I can't look bad, so I need to make this adjustment to my number. That information will go in, and it won't go well. So that's kind of my soapbox this week on this topic. We'll return to it periodically. I've been through a number of digital transformation projects, usually the cleanup crew, meaning coming in after everything goes wrong. We don't push that part of our business from the start. It's just not what we do. We have partners that do that as well. So we'll discuss some of those down the road. But in any case, enjoy. There's going to be a bunch of stuff coming out. I just did an interview on Efficient Plant, a podcast on electric machines that will come out. Webinar that will come out this week as well. And then we'll get our newsletter out announcing this and some other stuff. Hope you enjoyed today and my ramble after the comparison. Next week, I haven't decided what we're going to do because I'm going to be in a standards meeting all week. I'm probably going to pick some ideas out of that standards group meeting. And as soon as I get off here, I have to get onto that as well as some programming stuff. So have a great rest of your weekend. Next weekend, I will try to address some new stuff related to testing standards. Thank you very much.